Hey guys, Kevin here, and in this video I want to talk about stances and why I no longer use them. So in traditional martial arts, especially in karate, many styles teach stances. You stand in the stance and you punch. You do a horse stance and you practice your basics punching. I understand doing stances like that to strengthen your legs and things, but when it comes to actually doing a form, doing self-defense, sparring, to me stances don't mean anything, because a stance is really a transitional movement. You're moving into it and out of it in a moment. You're moving into it to defend or to attack, and then right away you're moving into something else. It's not something that's permanent, which is what a stance kind of makes you think of. You're taking a stand on something. You're setting yourself in that position to fight, and that is not what it is. So now, it being older and with my knees being the way they are, all of my stances that I used to do in Tang Soo Do and anything else I do now are higher. I no longer do deep stances, and it's for two reasons really. First, to take pressure off my knees, because if you're moving around, my front stance was long and it was deep, and I would move from here. You'd have to get your body moving. You're moving around and you're putting too much stress on the knees, and I tried to do it, but it's causing me more pain because I can't move being this low. Same thing with the horse stance. Instead of being really low and my knees going out over my ankles, my horse stance now is no lower than this. It's high. And I do naihanchi, I do it from here. My front stance is now here. One walking step, a stride apart. It's not low, it's here. My side stance is now here. It's not really low so that my knee goes over my toes. It's a little higher and it's here. Still on the ball of the foot, weight still back, there's nothing here, but I'm not squatting down and trying to get low. I no longer do that. And in self-defense, you need to be mobile. While I train on my own and I train solo with Bob over here, I still train moving in and out of range. And I have to be mobile to do that, and you can't do that in low stances. It's not practical to be in a low stance when you're doing self-defense training and you fight the way you train. So it makes no sense to me to do traditional stances really deep and low when my focus is health, fitness, and self-defense now. I'm not competing anymore. I don't need to look pretty. I need to be functional, I need to be fast, I need to be mobile, and that is what my stances are now. If you are an older warrior and you're over 40 and you're in good health and good flexibility, your joints are good, and you still compete, or you can still do those low stances and don't have problems or pain moving around, God bless you. Go ahead and keep doing it, but be sure you're safe. Be sure your movement is good and your movement is correct and your postures are correct, so that you don't put unnecessary strain on your knees or your joints and end up with problems down the road. But if you're like myself and you have knee issues, hip issues, back issues, or anything else, I would encourage you to try raising your stances up. You can still do them in the same manner. Like a front stance, the back leg can still be locked and you can still have your knee bent, but don't go low. You don't have to be stretched out. If you have to raise yourself up before you can start moving in any other direction, you're too low. You should be able to go right from here and just take a step and move in whatever direction. Same thing with your horse stance. I'm not going to be really low, I'm going to be higher so that I can move in my horse stance. Okay? I won't need to come up to move sideways. I don't need to raise myself up. And it's no pain on my knees. The stress on my knees is very little, if any at all. So I'm still able to train and do my forms. They just look different. And there's many people that are being like, well, then you're not doing karate right, or that's not right, or that's wrong, you're doing it wrong, blah, 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 blah. Well, okay, well, if you were training your form, say Basai or something like that, in your small one-bedroom apartment, and you don't have the room like you do in a dojo, and you're doing your form, you're gonna be making your stances shorter, you're gonna be cutting things short to be able to do it in that, to adapt it to that space. Are you doing it wrong? Are you doing the form wrong even though you're adapting it to that space? No, not in my opinion. So it's not wrong to adapt your technique or the art that you're doing to your physical limitations. It's the same thing. You're adapting to account for your own personal limitations, your own abilities. If you're really overweight or you're out of shape, you're not going to be able to get really low, you're not going to be able to do things. You adapt them to whatever your current situation is. The martial arts are supposed to be for everybody and anybody, regardless of age, regardless of ability, regardless of physical abilities, limitations. Anybody should be able to train and learn a martial art and benefit from the martial arts training. So if you're watching other videos, don't necessarily jump to the fact that, oh, they're doing it wrong. That's not the way you do it, because they may be doing it right for them based on some issue you don't know about. Now, I'm saying my issues are my knees, and some issues are my shoulders. There's reasons I don't do some techniques because of my shoulders as well, or I do them differently because I'm older, I'm wiser, and I'm making the art mine. If you're just starting out and you're learning and you're about to get into martial arts, you're talking about it, thinking about it, and you're older, you don't think you can do it, you can. Your stances, you're gonna try raising them higher. Despite what you may see in a video or in a book or something, don't worry. If you can't go that low, raise them up till the point that you're comfortable and you can move around. This is making it your karate. If you're following my videos, I'll show you how I'm doing things, adapted for what I do. You can try it that way. If you can go lower and you'd rather go lower, knock yourself out. That's your martial arts. But I'm going to be showing you how to do things properly and safely to work around some issues, and how I do it to work around mine. Stance-wise, raise them up. Raise your stances. Don't worry about taking really long strides or overstretching or overreaching. Raising the stances, making them higher, and making yourself more mobile, in my opinion, is the way that older warriors should go to prolong their training and be able to train for a lifetime. Or even older people who want to begin training in the martial arts, whether you go to a school or whether you learn here online, train according to your abilities and your limitations. If you go to a school and your instructor keeps telling you to go lower, and for some reason he's on your case, or he or she is on your case, that you're doing it wrong, then maybe you need to find another school, because an instructor should realize that the martial arts is supposed to be tailored to the individual. Not everybody works the same way, can do the same things. It's not an out. I'm not saying to use it as an excuse, but if you legitimately have issues in your knees, your back, something like that, that prevents you from doing it, don't go beyond what you're able to do just because, and risk further injury or pain to please an instructor. Okay? That's what I'm saying. So if you're an older warrior, you're in your 40s or older, and you're just starting out, and you try doing lower stances and they hurt your knees, they bother your hip, your back, whatever the issue may be, raise them up, come higher. Bring your feet closer together, more underneath you instead of way out. Make yourself more mobile, which is a good thing for self-defense, and try that. That is my stance on stances. Go ahead and let me know what you do in your training with your stances. If you still do them really low, if you've raised them because of issues, or what you think on the issue. Go ahead and put them in the comments below. I'd really like to know what your take on it is and whether you agree with this or disagree. If you find this video useful or any of the videos on this channel, be sure to hit the thumbs up and hit the subscribe button, and be sure to also hit the notification bell so that you're notified every time a new video comes out. That is my stance on stances. That is it for this week's video. Until next time, God bless, stay safe, train hard, and never ever quit. God bless, and we will see you next week.